Hey, well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Scott, and boy, am I excited to be here today. Thanks for everybody for joining us for State of the Chain. We've got some very, very exciting information, some great discussion all lined up for this event today. This is our first time, so bear with us as we get through perhaps some of the, the technological challenges that may creep up, but it is what it is, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Today we've got Bill, and Bill's going to be sharing a few things. I wanted to share a quick little story before we switch over to Bill, and just a little bit about how I got myself into this project. And when I first found Phantasma, I became an investor. I bought some tokens, and the way that most of us have gotten involved. And what was interesting about this project is peeling those layers back. Every layer that I peeled back, I got more excited. And one day the light bulb moment happened, and I realized blockchain, this is just a business, and we're essentially just investors. And let me dig in and start to learn about the team and what was behind this technology. And Sergio, the original creator, it's fascinating. We're going to learn more about him on these events and some of his history. But today we've got Bill, and Bill was the deciding factor for me to make a choice to invest significantly of my portfolio into this project. And Bill, I was impressed from the moment that I started to learn about him. And peeling his layers back, some of his history, what he's accomplished, what he does in his day-to-day, and his ability to come in and manage a team to get shit done. And that's a leader. And I remember when I was in school, university, I had a professor tell me once, he said, there's one common thing every CEO of every successful organization has. One thing, and that's a vision. That's giving me goosebumps right now, just legitimately saying that, because that's why I got excited about Phantasma and started to learn about the tech was this man here. So without any further ado, love the cap. Okay, is the video playing? I can see some people talking. Well, that's good. I'm glad everybody hears me. But on that note, without further ado, guys, let's switch over and bring Bill on, and let's start the show. And Bill, dude, there you are. You see the little red light pop on there? Welcome, man.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. How you doing, Scott? Thanks for the intro. It's very exciting to be here, and it's nice to have you set these things up. It saves me a lot of hassle. So yeah, happy to be here in sunny Melbourne. Not sure if it's daytime or nighttime, given that we've been in 8 months of COVID lockdown, but it's been a great time for building things. So not much else to do.
Yeah, that's my 2020, man. Is pandemic and Phantasma. It's just make the best of it when when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, and that's what this year has been. It's been exciting.
Yeah, well, if you'll either find me on Telegram, playing a video game, or cycling on Zwift. So that's pretty much where you can find me in either one of those three places. It's the extent of my life.
Yeah.
So great to be here, and really looking forward to these webinars. I think it's a really key part of our new strategy, well, not our new strategy, but our revised strategy to be more engaging with the community. And I think we've spent so long focusing on technical deliverables and so forth, and built some really amazing things. And we've just been so occupied in doing that I'd like to think that, unfortunately, we probably neglected the community or the engagement part of things somewhat. And that was purely just from a lack of time, really. Everyone was just so busy and occupied doing everything else. So as we do with everything else, we like to rectify that. And part of that rectification, along with restructuring the way that we do our community engagement, marketing, and online presence, is to run these weekly interviews, talks, webinars. I'll be doing this first one, but we'll have people coming in every week. Now they will be weekly. I'd like people to get used to them. I'd like people to have that conduit to us. We are a very community-focused project, and I like to have that presence and that constant conduit of information, and not just have me in there talking all the time, but drag in people from all across the ecosystem, because there's some people doing some absolutely amazing things who have delivered some great things. And to be honest, no one really knows about us, or not that many people know about us. We're sort of we seem to be in a little bit of a corner at the moment, and the Eye of Sauron is sort of floating around on everyone else, and we seem to be getting missed. And I'd like to think that we're second to none in what we've delivered. And the fact that not many people know about it, well, quite frankly, was pissing me off. And I'm pretty sure it was pissing off a lot of the community too. So I made the decision, let's do something about it. And that starts with engaging and talking. And not only that, but also a full revamp in the way that we handle our online presence, including social, web, video, AMAs, blogs, wikis.
Yeah. There's lots of content for us to cover. We're going to get into some of that. We've got some content to share, and it kind of reminds me of like Sergey Brin and Larry Page. They had these discussions, and I remember first learning about the Google product in 1998. Nobody knew about that, and that was you were in the search engine in those days, and you knew that story. And
that was my first job, was working for a search engine.
And I think there's really two types of companies. You've got you've got sales driven organizations, and you've got operationally and developmentally driven organizations. And Google is one of those companies that had built some really good tech. They had a really good algorithm. And once people started to use the product and understand it and identified use cases for this new concept of a search engine, the company grew. And, there's so many parallels with Phantasma and the technology. And, we're going to talk a little bit about the BGA. I don't know if anybody's got to see that event. Bill, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning for you. And when you watched it was the feedback was people were just like holy shit, this is happening, this technology. So that's why these events have got to happen. And I guess on that note, why don't we jump into our first slide here and start talking about the technology. At first, we're going to cover past development, a little bit of future development, and then we're going to talk. Bill's going to get in and share some of the marketing initiatives and relationship building initiatives, and a part of that plan for the next quarter. And then we'll get into some questions. Anybody that wants to ask questions, I'm going to be monitoring the chat group here. I can see. That's great. I'd love to see where everybody's from. I could see that there's some fans and some faces of people I was talking to, and part of the team, Jay and John. Nice to see you guys here, and hailing, and Geo. Is that when I do my dab? Geo. It's great. Go ahead. There's a button that says Ask a Question. Ask your questions in there. We've got 6 questions. We had some emailed questions. If we have time, we can get to those. And so on that note, Bill, I'm going to switch over and throw us on to the first slide. We've got our upgrades. So you should be all good to go, Bill. Let's talk about development.
Yeah, okay. So let's cover off on that. So we recently just delivered probably the largest development piece that has been done in the history of the chain, ever since, almost as large as when we first went live with the mainnet. And that was because we didn't want to just be landlocked to Neo. We have the mainnet, we have the cross-chain swapping with Neo, but we wanted to really plug in and capitalize on, the whole DeFi space and Ethereum. And so we made the hard but necessary decision to build in bidirectional optional swaps across the Ethereum network as well. So now we are, I would like to say, the only chain that allows bidirectional optional swaps driven by a user. And that's somewhat of our new tagline is Phantasma, we connect, but you create and control. And that's exactly what we've done here. We're giving people the opportunity to, what am I looking for here? You're pointing down, Scott.
Oh, don't look at me. I'm pointing to the PowerPoint slide that's on. I'm trying to point to the bullet points when you said, "Hey, we connect, you create, control." I'm pointing to where it says that. I'm just trying to have a little bit of fun, a little bit of, so I could turn around and look up to you, and we could have a little bit
Yeah.
of fun because you can't see the shot, but you're above me, so you could like hand something down and I could grab it. I know.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
digress. Sorry.
It's okay. That's fine. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's another part of our core message too, is to really focus on our strengths, which is NFTs, gaming, and dApps. And like I said, just to keep it nice and simple, we connect, you create, and control. And that's exactly what we did with this major piece of development now. So we've delivered the ability to swap across 3 chains now, Ethereum, Neo, and our Phantasma mainnet. It's bidirectional, it's optional, purely user-driven, and people don't have to do it, but they can. So you can swap over to Ethereum now, and that was quite a big one for us because it allows people to also join some of the the DeFi space, get involved with Uniswap, and that was particularly important with our utility token, which is going to have a ton more utility in the coming months, and in the years to follow. And because that did not have a trading pair, so we had a utility token called KCAL, or our energy, which is crucial to every single thing on the chain, and there was no trading pairs for that. So having the Ethereum swapping capability allowed us to launch a trading pair, literally an hour after going live. So that was an absolutely mammoth task. We had close to 12 developers working around the clock, combination of core team, Phantom Force, and even community members that were just getting involved, just saying, hey, can I help out? We had so many people that just jumped in and are now part of the growing development team. We actually even interviewed 2 people last week, everything from user experience developers to full stack developers. And I'm now got an interesting dilemma, which I've never had before, where I've got to find things for them to do. So I've never had that problem before. So it's a good problem to have.
It is.
Yeah, it's always been crap. I've got too many things and not enough people to do it. Now it's kind of the other way around. But obviously that needs to be managed in a very, I wouldn't say strict way, but a very controlled way. So we work in sprints, and we leverage enterprise level software development management tools. And we work in a very tight, continuous integrated, controlled and scoped development framework. And so onboarding all those people has been a challenge in itself. So that's been great. So along with the interoperability, so that goes a few steps forward, and it does encompass what there's another bullet point you've got down there with the Ethereum integration and swaps, but that also then flows into the NFTs. So what I can see coming down the track, and what we all saw coming, and it was actually the reason that drew me to Phantasma in the first place. 3 years ago, I was toying around with blockchain, talking to Garth about his title, and we went looking for, well, he said, you've got some involvement in blockchain. I said, yeah, I'm sort of active on a lot of forums, but I've been in software for 20 years, but I haven't been doing that much software up until 3 years ago. directly on blockchain projects. So I went looking for a project that might tick the boxes for what they wanted to do with the 22 Racing Series, to have that in-game economy, the ownership, and also not go absolutely broke in trying to deliver it and deliver it quickly. And they wanted rich content and they wanted it to grow. And that naturally led me to Phantasma. Now, what I can see coming down the track is now that gaming seems to be picking up a lot of momentum in the blockchain space. I mean, we even got that PewDiePie guy he's starting streaming blockchain games the other day. In the Blockchain Gaming Alliance, in the demos, you can see that everyone's throwing titles, some good, some interesting. I would like to put it. I think Alex. I was watching the replay of the broadcast, and Alex at one point was saying, "Why are they showing this stuff? Are they embarrassed?" I'm like, well, So look, what I can see happening down the track is a lot of these developers that are building titles are going to hit brick walls. They're going to get to a point where it's no longer cost effective or viable.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get to a point where it's no longer speed effective. It's not going to scale. It's just not. They're going to get to a certain point. Yeah, they might get their proof of concept, their minimal viable product out, something to show in a demo. But when they get to a point where they're going to have to onboard lots of users and so forth, I really foresee a situation where they're going to hit a lot of showstoppers. So that's why the Ethereum swapping was even more important, because we've compared and we did a full scoping exercise, and we are in a position now where non-fungible tokens minted on our chain can also be wrapped and swapped over to, well, not even wrapped, just modified and swapped over to the Ethereum network, and vice versa. Now, that is a very, very powerful thing, because that means anyone that's building a title on Ethereum, and if they were to find these showstoppers, they can quite easily switch over and start using our chain without too much fuss, or without hardly any fuss, to tell you the truth. Now, that's why that was our primary drivers for doing the Ethereum swaps, to give that conduit in. And we also need to stay very active in that regard. So we need to sort of catch anyone that's sort of hitting any of these roadblocks and attract them to our chain. And that was a major, major achievement. It was 3.5 months, 4 months of just absolutely no sleep, a lot of swearing. It wouldn't be a good software project without some swearing. I think we filled the swear jar about 50 times over. And as a part of it too, we did a lot of future proofing of the chain. And what we're doing right now is a tidy up follow-up sprint of that. But what that entailed was to increase the amount of data and the speed of which the data is synced between our nodes, to ensure that we are absolutely bulletproof, and there won't ever be a situation where the chain could go offline. I mean, it's an autonomous organization now in the purest sense, and really beefing up that swapping, also to increase the way that we leverage block storage and distributed storage, which is going to be pivotal in our ability to provide the self-minting solutions. Now that is in a testing phase, and now that we've done the major deliverable, we're just completing our first tidy up sprint. So what we're going to be doing now is run small sprints, and they will just roll. So instead of having a massive deliverable, which takes absolute months, we're talking a matter of weeks now, and we're just going to keep rolling with those. So this sprint that we're doing now is just a tidy up sprint to solidify just a couple loose ends that didn't make it into the big one. And those will be leveraged and needed for a couple of deliverables that will be coming up. But I'll talk about that when we get to what's coming up. So it's been a really busy but extremely rewarding 4 months, and we are in the driver's seat now to pursue pretty much any option that we want. I can't think of a use case that comes up that we can't handle now with what we have.
It's just fascinating, and when I sit back and just start to listen to you, my mind starts to go crazy, and it takes me time. It's like, it's like talking to my sister who's a doctor, which, what, ironically, it lives just down the street. Her husband's office is 500 meters away from the Goti office in Melbourne, Australia. It's bizarre.
Oh, well, they
But
haven't been there.
but
They haven't been there for a while.
but like, so she's a doctor, and talking about medical stuff. Sometimes I say, listen, I just need it in plain English. Just give it to me, and then I ask her a question and spit it back. And so that's like the same process I go through when I hear you talk. It takes me a moment to hear what you're saying, to translate it, and try to understand it into benefits for the end users, real case users. And we see that with 22. And if anybody hasn't watched any of the streams, it's a beautiful thing when you get in there and you see gamers playing this game, because to them it's just a high quality game. That's it. They don't care about the blockchain behind it, but it's the blockchain that is allowing the vision of the product to flourish, and it's just a beautiful marriage. And so basically everything that I'm hearing you say about about this technology in the last 4 months is almost like the doors are being opened up and saying, hey, we can now onboard DApp partners and users in a multitude of ways, and they can do a variety of different things. And actually, that's going to lead to the question at the end of today's AMA that I'm going to leave with you guys on that. But it's just fascinating when I go through that process of trying to translate it into benefits and use cases. And it's really exciting. So it's good to hear this integration. It's good to hear the proofing and the developments that have transpired, and the fact that this opens us up to the Steam community. I mean, a huge amount of developers, the Ethereum community. Ethereum 2.0, I believe, is being launched December 1st, and they're moving to a system similar to ours. We'll see. Of course, we know the development world, but the point is what you guys have been creating and building is just it's exciting, and 2021 is going to be great. So
Yeah, well, it was all done with flexibility in mind. I mean, we wanted to have absolutely as much interoperability as possible. So we've already got the Steam integration there, and now we have Ethereum integration. I can't think of anything else that we would possibly want to integrate with. We just want to be open for business. But we keep saying we're talking about 22 series, but that's all well and good, and that was one of the reasons why I was attracted to Phantasma in the first place. But we need more titles, we need more games, we need more dApps, we need more. And the way to do that is to stay as open as possible. So when, like I said before, when I foresee that a lot of these dApp or game developers start hitting roadblocks, we have Pavilion there. We've got free chain swapping. We've got the Steam integration. We've got so much on offer now that it makes for a very easy sell to start attracting others to our chain. So all of this work has been done with that in mind, is to just put us into a position where anyone comes to us and we can say, yep, no problems, absolutely, we can do it. Let's get moving. And we've already got a few titles that already found us organically, and we just want that to really start to cascade. And I feel that's already beginning.
well, I bet everybody that's watching this live or watching the recording has got some of the questions on, well, how, Bill, are you going to do that? How, what do you have in place to start onboarding some of these gamers and different dApp creators, and what are you creating to make it easy for them to get into and create some of this integration? So do you want to make the transition to some of those initiatives and switch over to marketing?
Sure. Well, I mean, let's switch over to what we've restructured in ways of marketing. Now, look, I mean, from a development point of view, I got really heavily involved in that, say, just at the end of last year. And I quickly came to the realization that, look, blockchain projects are software projects, just like any other project. I've been in software for 20 years, been doing development operations. The concepts on how you build software they're exactly the same to a blockchain project. There's no difference to it. At the end of the day, you're writing code. It needs to be done in a controlled and coordinated fashion. It needs to be tested, and it needs to be managed correctly. You can have the best developers in the world, and it doesn't have the right structure, and you end up with, with garbage. Um, so we made a really big structural change to the way that we're doing our development, and I think you can see quite clearly in what we've been able to deliver in these last, in these last 10 months ever since go live. I mean, it's just been deliverable after deliverable after deliverable after deliverable. And that's because we have adhered to a really well structured, well organized, and tried and tested development methodology. Now, when we talk marketing and presence, obviously it's very difficult for, we can have all the tools in the world, but if no one knows about us, I mean, what's the point? Who's going to find us? How do they even know about us? And so what we've done, and this has been something that we've really put a lot of thought into, and it's something that we've kicked off, say, I would say about 3 weeks ago, was to apply some of at least the management methodologies to our marketing and online presence. Now that covers everything from workshops to taking leads and pursuing them. The workshops happen weekly. We now work in a very structured way. The direct contributors to the marketing initiative, and you're a very important part of that, is up to about 10 to 11 people. We meet on a weekly basis. Those sessions are open. Anyone from the community is able to join. And what we do there is we leverage the same tools to pursue leads, take on tasks, and really just work in a focused fashion that has direction, rather than just being everywhere but nowhere. Another key part of that too, and this is something I should have really caught on to earlier, is the fact that our web presence was, for lack of a better term, invisible. And it's almost unforgivable for me, because my first job was working for a search engine. And it's funny that you brought up Larry Page and Google. I think he could have bought that. It's funny, I just mentioned Larry Page, and my Google Pixel lit up. If Yahoo could have bought that for $1 million, and at one point, and I remember the search engine I was working for at the time, and the search engineer, he actually built it himself. He took one look at Google and said, well, we may as well pack this stuff up. I'm like, why, Phil? What's going on? He goes, I'm not competing with that. So he'd run a bunch of algorithms. Anyway, long story short, I set him loose on our side and said, look, what's going on here? Why can't we, we just do not seem to be ranking. People just don't seem to be able to find us, And the first thing that I was thinking is that NFTs became the new craze after DeFi. And, what's the first thing a person's going to do when they watch a video on NFTs, right? And they might see paid content, and it could be a shill or whatever. The first thing they're going to do is probably Google NFTs, right? I want us to be found. And we did a full range of search analysis on our current website, and found that it was completely lacking in its searchability and search optimization. Now, part of that is also to expand what we have also initiated is not so much building a new bright and shiny website. I mean, we have undertaken a process where we're reconstructing the website in a more search-friendly fashion. We're going to be applying a content management system to make it a lot easier for us to make ongoing edits and keep the content rich. It will have blogs, wikis, videos, which you're watching one now, email, social media. The email will be a subscription based thing where you'll get a feed, because at the moment, we'll have news, we'll stick it on the website, but there's no feed. That's the real goal of the website. So it's not about building something new and shiny. Obviously, we'll polish along the way, but it's about getting the right message, getting the content right, getting the clear directive that this is Phantasma, this is what we do, and I want people to be able to find us either organically or by targeted marketing. So that has been a completely parallel stream of work. It follows the same methodology as our development, which has been proven and tested, and it's already yielding results. The website reconstruction's already commenced. You're watching the first of the weekly engagement videos, and the idea is to keep them rolling, so you can have a constant live conduit with us where we can talk directly, and you get to ask me anything you want on a weekly basis. And it won't just be me. We're going to have guests from all across the ecosystem. We've got some great people doing some fantastic things. I don't know if you saw the video with Vincent the other day about the NFT self-minting, and that was just absolutely glorious. We need more of that stuff.
We actually have Vincent lined up for Phantasma AMA in a couple of weeks.
Great. Vincent's been
Brilliant.
Vincent's a gem. He's been. I don't even know if the guy sleeps. He's just extraordinary, and and it's also he'll see something, and instead of just talking about it, he just goes and builds it. Next thing you know, he turns around and says it's finished. So.
And on that, if you just, I just want to interject and say, we got to give a big shout out to House of NFT and that interview. If you haven't seen that interview with Vincent yet, House of NFT, go check out his YouTube channel. It's a fantastic, just mind blowing video. I mean, I had to watch it twice, and I'm sitting there taking notes, and I'm just, and I think it was released at 11 o'clock at night, and I remember sitting down in my chair watching it and having to get up and start taking notes and go over and start typing to Vincent like, dude, this is brilliant. And I was up until 1 o'clock because it was just got me jacked right up. So go and watch that, and thank you, House of NFT, for that beautiful content that he's producing. So I digress.
No, that's fine. So so I think that went out at 4 a.m. my time, and we had the weekly workshop at 8 o'clock my time, and by 11 o'clock my time, he was then invited and joined our think tank, and will be invited to the next the rolling weekly workshops, and that's how we intend to progress. Is to just every time someone great comes along that's got the energy and creativity and wants to contribute, we just get them involved, and so he's now invited to all the workshops. And as soon as we wanted to give the Blockchain Alliance demo day, it's time in the sun, but once that dies down a little bit, we'll be plugging his content to give it the attention it deserves. That's the key, really, and it's all the part of having these workshops and having this a more of a structure around our online presence and marketing, is to make sure that things don't get lost. What we had was a situation where everyone was just glued to Telegram or whatever for all day. So you spend your whole day reading and not so much doing. So the idea is now that we meet once a week. If we bring in new people all the time, we capture tasks, we put them in a project management system, and we distribute them out to everybody involved, and to make sure that everyone has a clear, focused idea of what they need to do to be successful. And I think that was something that was missing. That there wasn't something you could sit down and have a look at your tasks and come out the end of the week and say, I was successful this week. That we just didn't have that. You might have gauged that by the price of the coin, maybe, but there wasn't any clear metrics on what you were doing from an online presence and PR marketing point of view that was any measure of your success. It was very clear from a development point of view, but it wasn't so much in that regard. So we've completely overhauled that, and that's already starting to yield results.
You said it the best, I think, when you said, look, word for word, you said, look, blockchain is just software. and
Yep,
and
it is.
and at the end of the day, behind that, there's just a business. And what we're trying to do here is not reinventing the wheel at all in regards to how dApps are going to become partners with us, and how we're going to have a forward thinking strategy to reach out. And at the end of the day, that's essentially business to business sales. And the marketing side of it and the deliverable side of it is just that other side of a business. And every business is comprised of operations and sales and marketing. Of course, there's human resources and accounting departments that are below that, but really there's only two pathways for anybody to ever achieve a CEO of a corporation, and that's through operations or sales. Those are the two channels and the two main driving pillars. And just systematizing and replicating what works. And that's what's beautiful about this community. Some of the people we work with are some of the most brilliant minds. And I think of we've got a doctor on our team, and an attorney, and a very successful traders, and the list just goes on and on of highly educated, highly successful people that are just bringing the best of the best together. And now the doors are ultimately opening.
Yeah,
It's
and that was the
exciting.
key part of it. It was a key part of it. Now we've got all the interoperability in the world, but no one really knew about us. So, and quite frankly, that was annoying. So, okay, like we do with anything else, let's fix it. So that's what we've started to do, and that's not going to slow down. These will have weekly videos. We'll with the website revamp, you'll notice that our Google rankings, and with all the other content that goes around it, that all links back to it. You'll notice us starting to pop up in the ranks. The two most searched things on Earth are Google and YouTube. So we dusted off our YouTube channel, which hadn't been touched in quite some time. It was almost embarrassing, actually. So,
But well, why though? Why are you going to hype something up that you don't have? And see, that's the difference of the theme of this conversation. I think where it's going is that Phantasma's mindset is we're a business, and in order for there's certain steps that need to be taken. Where we've got the technology and the ability to grow and bring people on, while others are trying to catch up. And they may have the exposure, but that's the crypto world. And the speculation in the crypto world has a disconnect to the goals of the chain itself. At least that's my feeling. I'm not saying that on behalf of Phantasma. And when people start to peel the layers back and recognize, hey, they're building something that has true legitimate use cases. They've got businesses today that are running on the chain, and have demonstrated proof of concept. And that's a big key in the world of marketing, is the proof of concept. And we were talking about case studies a couple of days ago, you and I. And
yeah,
I
I'll
don't
get to
know if
that
you were
when
ready to talk about that publicly, but the importance of demonstrating
I
the
can.
proof of case studies. And it's exciting.
Well, just to give you an idea, I mean, I have a lot of conversations, and I'll talk about that in what's coming up. What you can expect from us this quarter. I'll do it in such a way that it's quite loose, because I don't want to give away any secrets, and it's not really mine to be blasting.
You
But
know
it's just
what?
an, it just
I'm gonna interrupt you and hold that thought. And the reason why I'm interrupting you is we're getting to we're about 40 minutes in, and I had a video here about the response from the BGA, and I think it's going to tie in really well with the concept of what we're doing, because this little video is just going to demonstrate the average user's response in regards to this ecosystem. And does that sound good? Can we do that? good
Yeah,
lead
yeah,
in?
sure. Just one last point is the whole build it then make noise was because in my conversations and any type of pre-sales engagement or any type of conversation that you have, if you don't have it ready to go, and you can't say, yeah, let's pull the trigger and let's go. Because if they want to pull the trigger, you need to be able to say, okay, let's do it right now. And we weren't in that position up until a few weeks ago. So we are in that position now. And because if you have those conversations and they're like, oh, yeah, we really want to do it. And you go, oh, yeah, well, we might have that built in 6 months. You're just going to look like a dickhead. So that's it's just not, it's just not what we, it's just not how we, it's not how I want to go about having those conversations because it's, it's just not worth it.
Well, those are the
So,
projects that have failed and gone away, overpromise and underdeliver. And you're a
well,
firm. You say it all the time. Let's underpromise and overdeliver. It's
well, talking about that blockchain gaming alliance, I felt like putting the line from Crocodile Dundee, like, that's not a game. That's a game.
we're gonna have to go get that clip. That was beautiful. With your Australian accent, man. That's funny. I
Funny.
love it. I love it. All right, let's take a short 40-second break. Just show this clip. Um,
Sure.
yeah,
Great.
unfortunately, we haven't figured out how to show you the clip at the same time, so you're the only one
I
that's
don't
not.
care. I'm fine.
But guys, this is from the BGA, and this was after Garth did his presentation, and it was just take a look at the people's facial
I'm going to have
responses.
actually. Well, I'll have Garth's gaming chair behind us, behind me very soon. So that should be
Oh
good
yeah,
for
that's
some
gonna
of
be
these
fun.
webcasts. Yeah, we're
Um,
setting this up like a little studio. So it's be like Phantasma HQ down under. So yeah.
yeah, right. Um, and it was just a really solid response because it really demonstrates that the technology of Phantasma is ultimately back into the user, and that's okay. That's what you want, and uh, it has allowed 22 to be able to build, Garth's concept. He's been at it for 10 years, and without the technology of Phantasma, he wasn't able to build his vision. So let's just go into that, then we'll come back and finish up on some marketing elements, and then get into
Yeah,
some
and I do. I
questions
want to
here.
talk. I want to talk about what will be delivered before, what you can expect from us between now and the end of the year as well.
Yeah, yeah. Then we'll get into some questions and
Sure.
move on. All right,
Hmm.
we'll be right back, guys.
Yeah, I think you've done like it's a very packed. Within 10 minutes, you've been able to show like a lot of things, very exciting. The ecosystem, the marketplace, the game, the tournaments, everything is there, and the audience could see that we have among in blockchain gaming, like when they ask like, okay, show us some cool game. Like if you didn't tell me there's blockchain in this game, it just looked like a regular. High quality game from PC or console that you just want to play, and then you enjoy additional benefits from having the
Yeah.
technology.
Yeah,
So
okay,
it's-
yeah.
That was short and sweet. Um,
Welcome back to Phantasma.
Welcome back. We need a little bit of sound effects so we can add some of that stuff. I hear you talk, and I'm thinking in the back of my head we could add a little dun dun dun. But we don't
Welcome
want
back
to
here.
cheese this up too much. It's all about the content being delivered, and it's great to hear and see some of this feedback that you guys are giving in the chat room. I can see that there's quite a few questions. I think 8 questions and different voting. Let us know on feedback, and whether it's in Telegram or anything that we put out there. It's important to get feedback, and that's a part of the marketing channel, is understanding internal communications and getting feedback from your users and audience
the whole point.
and
It's the
fans.
whole
And
point.
it's
The whole point of doing these. The whole point of doing these sessions is to talk to people.
one-on-one.
and-
Yeah. Yeah, the whole point. So yeah, it's welcome. And I guess on that note, Bill, why don't you lead in and talk about what's coming, and then we'll get into some
Sure.
questions from everybody, and I'll read
Sure.
some of them here so we're ready. So yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. I can run through it pretty quickly. So this tidy up sprint, which we've given, so we're giving all of our code development sprints a name now, and we're using car manufacturer names because we thought that would be apt. So the sprint, the Audi sprint, the next one will be Bentley. We're going to use Datsun at some stage. I don't know if you remembered that. Did they have Datsuns in the US?
Yeah. Nissan's, right? That's a Nissan product.
Yeah, that's right. So, look, at the end of this tidy up sprint, which is actually just in a testing phase now, it was supposed to go live yesterday. We found one small little thing, but that we should have that delivered in the next few days. As soon as that goes live, shortly after Catacomb, which is a small but fun title that Sergio and pretty much just Sergio actually has been working on by himself. Now that's it's simple but fun, but also has a multiplayer element to it. So essentially, I won't give too much away, but I almost said it's like Deal or No Deal, but it's not quite that. But you'll enter a dungeon, and there's a bunch of chests, and you choose how to go. You're going to open them with KCAL or Soul, and there's different prizes. But as you progress to the next dungeon and the next dungeon, you'll get to a certain dungeon where you can only open up chests if you collaborate with other users. So you'll need to team up with people to open up, like super chests, and you don't need, Pavilion, Godi, they've got the top end of the market under control with gaming. I don't think we even need to bother with that, but we need a lot of these small, fun titles, but also that require people to collaborate, and that's exactly what Catacomb is. It's simple, but it's fun. You don't need a supercomputer to run it. You get rewarded for playing it, and you also need to team up with people. The NFT self-minting, which Vincent built, and is also extremely powerful. Yep, that's in a test phase now as well. And I know that it's something that Revolatoso has been really, really hot on because he has so much art himself that he wants to published. We'll have a verification system for that. Also, those NFTs can be swapped over to Ethereum if you really want to. But minting them on our chain has two benefits. Firstly, you have to use KCAL to do it. Right, so anyone that's just flipping their KCAL now for a quick buck, you might want to think twice because you need KCAL to mint. And as part of the minting process, we also burn KCAL, so it all happens in one transaction. So the supply of KCAL is already low. It's actually just going to keep getting lower. The only way you can generate them is by staking Sol. So they get minted as they go, and this is going to be another way to not only provide a use case for KCAL, but also burn them at the same time. So that's very, very powerful. We also, and we're actually getting paid to do this. It's part of something that we're working on with another project, and we are delivering a cross-chain NFT validation oracle. So what that will do will provide either users, we'll have a front end for it, but we'll have an application programming interface or an API, as it's called, where you'll be able to query an NFT, and you'll be able to see everything there is to know about that NFT, when it was minted, which block it was minted in, who minted it, the whole history about it, which wallets it's been in, where it's been transferred to, all the metadata about it. And so that Oracle will be able to just verify everything there is to know about the NFT. That we're going to be providing that. And it won't just be for the Phantasma chain NFTs, it will also cover Ethereum NFTs as well. And that was also part of why we built that cross-chain linkage. So we'll have a cross-chain NFT validation oracle, and that will be out before the end of the year in this quarter. We will also be doing, and this is in conjunction and primarily driven, pardon the pun, driven by the team behind 22 Racing Series. We'll be doing our first collaborative vehicle auction with another project. And what we want to do is more and more of those. So yeah, look, I'm not going to mention any names now. You're going to see a lot of comms and all that, but the vehicle was a lock the other day, and they're really excited about it. We're really excited about it, and it's a win-win for everybody involved. And we plan on doing more of those. So we'll have the first one of those. And what we do need, and like any other pre-sales activity that you undertake, you always need that one case study. If you're going to go to the next client and the next client, or the next project and the next project, and I'm all about working with any project that wants to work with me, maybe except Tron, but anyway. No, I'd even work with Tron if I had to. But you need that one case study. So, and I think this one's going to be a great one. So yeah, we'll have that case study. We'll be able to show clear benefits, costs, rewards, exposure, and also the perpetuality of the whole thing is that, once it's an NFT, it's there for forever. So, they got their branding will be there forever in another title. And I think that's great. And I think once we can reference that, it should be a great talking point. And we'll be pursuing more, either actively or passively. Others might see it and say, hey, we want to do the same thing. So that's going to happen. Now, someone asked about Minimon and Nurtureman. Geez, I've been sitting in this nearly done state for so long. We're going to do our best with those to get them out. Obviously, we need to finish this cleanup sprint, and after that, we need to get Catacomb out. And it's nearly, well, we're in November now, so I'm not sure. It's going to be a tight squeeze, so I'm not going to promise anything on those. They're in a nearly finished state, but until I'm testing them and I see how far along they are, yeah, I can't really commit to a date on those. We also, I noticed someone asked in the question about farming. Now, farming is a way to, and this is more directed to projects that are in an incubation phase. But what that does allow them to do is, while they're in the process of building their own chain or solution or so forth, it allows both their users and the project itself to create and join a pool on our chain and get some return on investment from their tokens. It's either via a cosmic swap or by swapping, or actually buying sold directly, or doing a one-to-one swap. That'll be determined on a case-by-case basis. And once that's established, and we're in the process of building and testing out a web interface for that, it will allow, in a very similar way to joining a Uniswap pool, except without the trading aspects. It's more of a way to incubate the tokens while the project's in development on our chain. For next to nothing, and get some return on investment while the project's being built. And that's a solution that we're going to be providing, and we'll have direct financial benefit to them and us. And that's well and truly underway. I saw the first version of it today, and we actually had this is one of the other new developers that came on building that. So he's been doing a fantastic job. So yeah, there is absolutely plenty going on. Plus, I'll be regularly kicking Garth to finish his game. But what we have also done is we've engaged a developer who will be shared across Godi and Phantasma, and the idea being that it frees up there'll be some mutual benefits there, because the work he'll be doing for Godey will be work that interfaces with the chain, and then there'll be that crossover. He may identify things that are needed on the chain, and bring that across to when he's doing his work for Phantasma, or see things from the Phantasma side and be able to translate over to Godey. And plus, it also frees up the Godey resources, so they can actually finish their title and not spend so much time working on Pavilion and everything else, because there'll be a resource to take over that.
They're actually, when we do get them on an AMA, get Godey on an AMA, Garth will be discussing some of the projects that individuals were working on, and there'll be some big announcements for 22 that are coming along with that. And
I know exactly what they're.
It's that's going to be
not for me to. It's not for me to say, but they've been doing work for some very large names.
Oh yeah. So I'm just letting anybody know that's listening to stand by and keep an eye out for that event, because that's going to be a big one in the next few weeks. And when we do have that event with Vincent, that's going to be lined up with the launch of self-minting. That's also going to be huge news. And you were making reference to a partnership that you're not quite prepared to say. I think it's safe to say from my end that you're going to hear about that within a week. There's just a few T's that need to be crossed and I's that need to be dotted.
It's not so much so much a partnership than it's they're just utilizing our solution for a mutual benefit.
Wait till you guys see this. Wait till you see it and recognize some of the implications for these large corporations to utilize the Phantasma technology for their benefit. It's fascinating. And on that note, I'm actually going to ask a quick question here to the audience, and then let you finish up with your questions there, so they can have some time to think about it. And this question here was kind of was a last minute thing. I'm going to pony up a low mint NFT for a prize giveaway right now with this question, and it's a 22 low mint NFT. It does have real dollar value to it. But we're gonna get a little more coordinated with having some fun giveaways with these events in the future and whatnot. So on that note, what do you think will be the biggest use case for NFT self-minting on the Phantasma chain? I've just written that into the chat group there. And so what do you think will be the biggest use case for NFT self-minting on the Phantasma chain? We'll get back to that. We'll randomly pick somebody, and then we'll get that over to your wallet. And that just leads into the fact, this relationship it deals with self-minting and corporate use. It's exciting, and I just can't wait. So sorry I pulled you away there, Bill, but
no, okay.
Let's get back to some questions.
I can see here someone's asked about DAOs set up for Phantasma to govern something like NFT art market, and especially the governance. Yes, they can, and they will be. So that'll be a verification mechanism. I'm just scrolling through some of these now. Transactions on the Phantasma network, good size of growth. Does the team have a project projecting they believe in securing 12 months? I've got no idea, mate. I don't know. It depends on how many people use it. It's a finger in the sky. Who was that? Anyway. Maintain new tokens. Come on, those were just created for a bit of fun. Yes, we're going to be doing tournaments and so forth with them. We give them away for free, and they're just for a bit of fun. Farming, I believe I did cover that. Nurture and Minimon, yes, they're going on quite well. We'll wrap those up when we've got Catacomb and self-minting and the tidy up sprint out. Cracker Marketing still a go for 22 series. Well, they have a marketing affiliation signed. I mean, that's why the vehicle's in the game. So, I don't really.
Well, that's a Godey question. That's a Garth question.
Yeah, I mean, there is a marketing affiliation program, and they already have they already have the ability to process payments via Kraken if they want to. So yeah, it's just that's a question for them.
Yeah.
I know, man. We have got we've got a really strong supporter at Kraken who really digs everything that we're doing. Actually, having a meeting with him this week just to check in. His name's Elon. So yeah, look, we're just trying to grow that relationship. So what we're hoping is now that our doors are open and that things continue to become bigger and bigger, and you know, we have a proposition there. So, yeah, but one step at a time.
Yeah. I think I think you covered all the questions that were in the group there. We did have a couple of questions that were emailed in. Some of them that we've already addressed, like when self-minting go live. We're a couple of weeks right now. Don't have a specific date, but Vincent is working hard on that. I was just talking to him last night about that. Where how can I build my game on Phantasma? Where do I go?
Yes. Okay. So that's another part of what we're improving too. It's all good and well to get this engagement and get people attracted to our chain, but what do they do next? Where's the documentation? Where's the and then that all flows into the online presence and the wikis. So we have very robust software development kits that cover C#, JavaScript, C++. A lot of the C++ one, which is for real hardcore games, was was written as part of the NFT integration with 22 series. But there's not a ton of documentation to go along with it. So you'll grab the code and you'll invariably end up having to sort of reverse engineer it. So we are very, very actively improving that side of things as well. And that's all part of our engagement. That's not so much community engagement more than developer engagement. So someone comes to the chain, they'll be able to pick their programming language, go and check out the documentation for it, much in the way that if you look at Ethereum and you want to do a hello world or something like that, you can read really clear steps start to finish and have something working. So we're doing a lot of work on that side of things as well, and that will all flow into and be available on our revamped website as well as GitHub.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. There's definitely a lot of things that are going on, and this is good. And so I think we've gone past our hour here, and we've covered everything that we've had in our notes, Bill. This has been a heck of a good conversation. The feedback that everybody's got is great. I like to see. I think maybe we'll answer those questions in regards to the NFT. And so the question was, what do you think will be the biggest use case for NFT self-minting on the Phantasma chain? Just as a reminder, this is going to be launched relatively soon. And this is going to allow people to take pretty much anything that's digital and create a NFT out of that. That's an asset that they can own, they can trade, they can sell. So a musician, for example, can create an NFT out of music, and I believe that NFT technology is going to be disruptive to the music industry, just like iTunes was disruptive 20 years ago. I think the music industry is ready for that. I think artists have cried long enough. And I think that's going to be a massive use case there. Now, inevitably with with Phantasma and 22, it's a use case in terms of assets within the game. It's pretty awesome. So we've got a few different responses here. In the short term, where's that? Art and fun NFTs, yes, in the short term. That's what we're seeing right now.
Short term definitely art, because when it comes to media, we've got the block storage. We need better means for we don't have a content delivery network that's that's going to stack up for streaming just yet. So that's something that we're also looking at if that comes into play. But definitely art, I would say, would be, something that's digital art, especially will be yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see how it all rolls out. And Jesse says here, says, I think I'm going to be surprised by how many different use cases we find. Oops, I said too much. I mean, yes, we don't know all the existing use cases, or it wouldn't be existing.
You know what? At
potential
the end
use
of the day,
cases.
don't care. It's
No.
like I said, you create and control, not me. We
Yeah.
build it. You use it. I don't care. I don't care what you use it for.
John Dane says an EFT type NFT. One of my clients is they provide funding for house flipping out of California, and we're having regular conversations about blockchain in the real estate industry and how that's going to apply. It's fascinating.
When you think about it, right, an NFT is just a token that has a unique ID associated with it, and some metadata, some information.
That's it.
Built into the token. That's it. I mean, that can represent anything. I mean, anything that has a unique identification, with a property. It's the bloody strata title or whatever they might call it in the US. Say, call it its address, right? It's unique. That's its identification. It's details. Okay, how many square meters, whatever. That's the metadata. Bang, NFT. You're just storing immutable information about a single item in a token. That's it. There's no rocket science here. This is just, it's just really, you can apply it to anything. All you're doing is just taking a token, sticking some information that is unique in that token, and then it's immutable and it's on the blockchain, and you have a full record of it, and you can see everything that happens to it.
But the technology to make that happen, you need a blockchain, and
we've done all that.
that's all the hard part. That's the technology. That's what's fascinating.
Yeah, we've done the hard bits, but people are talking about NFTs and like getting all confused, and then you're just overblowing it. Let's need to simplify the message. I mean, it's an individual asset that is built into a token that is on the blockchain, that is immutable, and can also be certified against. There are certification partners out there, which was going to get built into it as well to confirm validity. Which we're also going to have the tri-chain oracle that people can also query to see if the NFT is rigid. You'll be able to see whether it in fact is that NFT that it was created and so forth, not just some crap that someone whipped up.
Pick a number, 1 to 10.
Me?
Yes, sir.
Of representing what? Or am I just plucking one out of thin air?
Just answer my question.
6.
There you go. All right. So I'm going to count backwards here because we had about 10 questions. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 ends up on Jesse. Jesse, I will be in contact with you. You are the winner of a Low Mints 22 Racing Series NFT. We have your email because you registered. And after this, I am going out of town. I'm going out of state. So this weekend, I'm not going to be around my computer. So I'll take care of that on Monday. So hang tight. But congratulations, Jesse, for winning that. Thank you for the participation, folks, and some of the questions. And I just noticed this right now, Bill, the shirt that you're wearing.
Oh yeah, that's my Soul Master. Sure.
I love it.
And I think, we got them made up for PAX. There was going to be a PAX this year, but it got called off. It's good that you can go interstate. We've been 8 months of COVID lockdown. I think someone said that I'm looking young today. It's because I got my first haircut in 6 months.
Yeah.
I was toying with the idea of getting the weed whacker, although we call it the whippersnipper here.
Oh, that's what we call it in Canada too, whippersnipper. And
Yeah, I
Americans
don't
don't know
know.
that
And
one. I've
you,
said that one before.
ah,
Whippersnipper. They're like, huh? What?
I had to learn a whole new language when I worked over there with Oracle. You know, it's not a sidewalk, it's a footpath. It's not a boot, it's a trunk. It's not petrol, it's gas. It's not chips, it's fries. It's not a lift, it's an elevator. Piss off! And then I got
Well,
back and I started calling things the other way around. And
it's like working with Phantasma, and it's all the spelling of everything. You're talking about search engine optimization, and you're spelling it with an S, and I'm like, it just looks weird. And I put it into my
uh,
computer, and it says, oh, spelling mistake, and it's incredible the amount of words. But I don't know, you Aussies, you guys shorten everything. I just read an article recently about
yeah,
how
it's
all
good.
the terminology for the coronavirus that you've shortened it down, and gonna go cook on the Barbie and everything's
No,
shortened.
yeah. Well, yeah, you're not a proper Australian unless you've got an abbreviated form of your name.
And
Except it's pretty hard with Bill. I mean, what do you shorten that down to?
when I was over there and I'd go
I mean, I've
drinking
been called a
with
lot of
some
different things,
Aussies,
but yeah.
try understanding Aussies when they've had a few beers in them. As an American Canadian.
Oh well, you need to kind of put on a bit of a US accent. I had to learn the phonetic alphabet when I was over there just to get a freaking booking because
Yeah.
no one had a clue what I was talking about. It used to really give me the shits. But yeah, I digress. So I think we've covered everything.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah. This has been good. This has been good. Thanks everybody.
Yeah,
Um,
look, I appreciate everyone took the time to tune in. Obviously, this is our first one,
yep.
so and it won't just be me every week. You know, that'll get boring fast.
No, like we were saying, we got some good people lined up. We're in a transitional stage here. We don't have a calendar yet on the website, but the new website is really gonna offer a lot of these
Mm.
values. But just to let you guys know, we've got Blood Ruin, Joseph and St. John from Blood Ruin lined up. We've got Charlie, an NFT artist, lined up. House of NFT to showcase the self-minting protocol. He's so brilliant at understanding the benefits of our ecosystem for the end user. That's going to be great.
Ah,
Brooke from Godi. Um,
I've got
we
another one for you.
yeah.
I've got another one to throw you away, and we've been meeting quite actively with them, and they're building a sports engagement platform that's going to leverage NFTs quite actively.
Oof.
Yeah, and will be focused around um, around yeah, it would be focused around football, not football as you know it, the good one, and not even our one. So uh, active conversations, and it's all very top secret. But you'll be getting a guest from them to come and talk about all that. And I saw some of that. I think Sergio and I met with them last week, and we've known these guys for ages, but they're just starting to get wheels moving. So you'll have a guest from there coming on. We'll be throwing your way.
Oh, that's awesome. I just can't wait for this. This is going to be a lot of fun. So,
Yeah, I saw the presentation the other day. It just blew me away. It was
oh,
really
it's great.
just amazing what they want to do because like the key problem right now that a lot of sports finding, especially now with COVID getting around and people aren't unable to go to stadiums and stuff like that. It's like how do they engage with how do they engage with their fans? It's you can't just get them to the stadium and anymore. You got to find other ways to engage more. I
Yep.
remember Garth was talking to the head of the Australian Grand Prix about doing like an online esports type thing at one stage, and then they sort of ummed and ahed and decided not to do it. And then the whole bloody thing got called off because of COVID. And he met up with them shortly after. I tell you, they were so pissed that they didn't pursue that. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I think
sometimes
we're
you.
seeing a change, in just the way everyone's doing everything. I wouldn't want to be an owner of office space right now because I doubt that's going to be in high demand. People are kind of getting used to being, you know, their home is wherever they open their laptop. So how do
I
you
just
engage with people?
largest key card manufacturer in the United States just shared some data, and 24.7% of Americans are using their key cards. So those are office workers. One quarter of the population, and yeah, it's 2021, at least in this country. There's going to be a huge huge change in real estate.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've got a very rich collection of lanyards from all my time consulting with Oracle and all the different customers I went to. I think I unpacked them the other day. Maybe I'll turn them into NFTs or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone would buy them.
But all right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging in this entire time. The engagement has been great. I could see that everybody pretty much stayed for the entire show. Look forward to your feedback in the Telegram group. Help the community out and help share the content. Phantasma, we need our soldiers and we need our fans, and it's going to be exciting. So thank you very much. Thanks, Bill, for your time and your
join
efforts.
Join our liquidity pools. We went through all this effort and set up Ethereum liquidity pools on Uniswap. And you get a benefit if you're part of it. The more the merrier, even if it's only a few bucks. It adds up. Join it. We can help ourselves here too. Whereas we're only as strong as our community. So.
Yeah. Right on.
Please.
Bye, guys.
See ya.